Aloha, Richard.
Hi, Selby. Hi, Selby.
Hi. Welcome, everyone, to Mystic Beast Sanctuaries, mystical being interviews, where I interview people on their experiences on this planet with peace, comfort, and joy. And today, I want to welcome mystical being Richard. Hi, Richard.
Hi. Hi.
All right, we're going to make a beeline right to the first question. Where do you live?
I live in this pistachio grove. I live in the Central Valley of California.
And where are you
which
coming?
is, I drove to a pistachio grove to make this call. There are three things you do in the Central Valley. One of three things. You work in the prison system, or you work for the oil company, or you work in agriculture. So of the three, the one I experience most divinely is the agricultural one.
And,
the one I look for.
That's a pistachio grove behind you?
Yeah, it's a pistachio grove. They're all around here. There's also almond groves, and they grow onions here, and these weird tomatoes that are heat-tolerant tomatoes. Most tomatoes that grow really high, these are really low and stay low to the ground to tolerate the 100-plus degree weather we have.
Okay, what's
and
the
there's
town?
Miles of them.
What's the town called? Where you're from?
The little town where I live is called Coalinga. Coalinga.
Right on.
It stands for Coaling Station A. And if any of you have ever seen There Will Be Blood, the movie There Will Be Blood, about oil wells in Texas, there's a reference to this town in that movie. He doesn't say the name of the town, but he talks about sending a pipeline to California, and this is where it was going.
Cool.
At one time, they call it Coaling Station A because there was Coaling Station B, and this is Coaling Station A.
We're not at Coaling Station B. This is Mystic B YouTube channel. We should be at the B station.
Well, there is no Coaling Station B town. There's only Coalinga. Coalinga.
All right. How do you spend your time here on Earth, Richard?
I try and be as peaceful as possible.
As what?
As peaceful as possible.
To stay as peaceful as possible. That's nice.
Yeah, that's what I try to do. Most of the time, I'm dealing with life's terrors.
I get that. What brings you peace?
Talking to you right now. What brings me peace?
Now.
Yeah, really. We're trying to be here now. What brings me peace is meditation. And giving back to people brings me peace. Not in the moment sometimes, but later when I think about, being of service to people. It's very peaceful. But mostly when I'm alone and look within, I find a lot of peace. I find it very calming. When I get quiet inside, I'm quiet outside.
How do you manage stress as you navigate your life?
Well, same kind of answers. I meditate. I do. I've been doing it more lately, and it's been really rewarding. Just being quiet.
So when life gets stressful, you go into
in the moment when it's stressful, I usually excuse myself and breathe.
So remove yourself, excuse yourself, and breathe.
Well, I don't always have the opportunity to remove myself physically, but I can remove myself mentally. I'll just get quiet, focus on my breath. If I'm in a moment, one thing I do is in the moment of chaos or stress, which is chaos is an extreme form of stress, but yeah, in a moment of stress, I get quiet and I try and be present to what's happening. You know, there's a lot. I work in an environment that's very stressful, and that will rub off on you if you let it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I'm great in a crisis. You know, get the crash card, do this, I find out who's available, who isn't, you know, stuff like that. But it's later later I fall apart. But in the moment, there's shit that has to be done, you know?
I do.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah, I know, yeah, I know you do. I have to be present with what I do. So that's
Right
just
on.
how I've always done that. I've always been that person in a crisis who people look to like do what has to be done.
That's
I don't
pretty
know that they're
important right
necessarily
now.
looking at me, but
That's pretty important right now in
yeah.
the times that we're in, that we have people like you.
Well, thank you, Selby. I don't always like it.
It's a difficult time in the whole world for a lot of people.
Yes.
So it's nice to have people
So,
that we can turn to.
so true.
So what is meditation to you? Is it breathing, like you said, stopping and getting quiet and breathing, or what is
Well,
meditation to you?
lately I'm doing what's called heart math. It's a program. I'm using a lot of devices to meditate. I'm exploring different devices to help. I do Vipassana meditation, but lately I've discovered devices that help me to like track what's going on with my body while I'm meditating, which are really cool.
What
So
was it that
I
you
have
said? Math? Was it, what did you call it?
there's a program called Heart Math, and it's a
Heart
device that
math?
you hook up to. Heart Math, it's called. You hook it up to your earlobe. It's an EEG device, really. And there's a program on my telephone, and I usually play a video from YouTube where they do sort of a guided meditation that I listen to. Whereas Vipassana is done, I'm quiet, alone, with my own thoughts. These are devices that add to that experience. And because I was interested in all that time, you know, I didn't really know, even though I might have felt like I was, you know, increasing my calmness, and I really had nothing to measure it with other than my own feelings about it and thoughts, which are purely anecdotal. So I didn't really know. I wanted more information. So I discovered through talking to friends who were using these devices. One of the programs called Heart Math, and then another one I use is called Muse 2, which is a device you put on your head, and it's an EEG device. It goes around your ears and across your head, and it picks up on your brain activity while you're meditating. It's so cool. I just started using it, and it tracks your brain activity throughout the meditation process.
Wow.
So you get a readout. You get a readout at the end, and the heart math is good for breath. Okay, so I breathe in for the count of 6 and breathe out for the count of 6. And with heart math, it's important to maintain that steady breath in and out, which is something I never paid attention to with insight meditation. I didn't pay attention to my breath, but not the capacity or the count that I was breathing. What I learned, I just discovered this, Sylvie, is that the heart is what leads us. I used to think, you know, this is me. The brain ran everything, right? Not true. It's your heart. Your heart tells the brain, and then the brain tells the body, you know? So,
Richard, I have known you for so many years, and
what?
this is a conversation we had so many years ago about the mind
We did?
versus the heart, and coming from the place of the heart and the bridge between the head and the heart, how short a distance and how long a distance that is.
I never really got it, though. I always separated them, you know, cognitively, but this is visceral. This is like, I can feel it and track it, and as I'm focusing on my heart, it's really like your heart. You can call it your heart chakra. You can call it a lot of things, but I mean the physical heart is like this thing that is your connection to the divine. You breathe. I breathe because God allows me to breathe.
Sometimes they call it
And
like
that's
the well of the heart, like dropping into the well of the heart. Like a well, you think of just
yes,
so dark and deep and go on and on and on.
yes.
And we can
And
find the water.
you can expand that out past your body with focus and breath work. And that's just blew my mind, when I actually could do it and see it, as opposed to thinking I'm doing it. But it's not just that. You focus on your heart first, and then you focus on your pineal gland, which is at the base of your skull in the middle of your head. And so I had to look up pictures of what that looked like, and so I could visualize it rather than just this amorphous thing in my head that I think is there. I actually looked it up, and it's a little pea-sized gland, and I was looking at it, and I was like, I can visualize that. So I visualize that, and as I'm doing these things, I'm filling my mind, my thoughts, and my heart with gratitude, right?
Beautiful.
With like thoughts of gratitude. When's the last time I felt something loving or loved or and it was harder to search for those things because they're not on the tip of my tongue, And I was like, what is gratitude? So that's what I'm doing.
Right on. Okay, we're gonna move along. I'm gonna rein you in. You're a wild stallion out there. Yes. Beautiful. Okay, so the next question is, what brings you comfort?
I think the first word that popped in my head is connection. Connection outside of myself with another human being.
Beautiful.
Especially on that plane that we're talking about. Because when you're a soul moving through, this soul moves through I can move through it as an individual and totally spaced out on that, and dissociate for everything. But when I can connect with another soul like that, it's like it validates both of us and beyond. And I can send that out even bigger than two people, So I connect with people around me. They may not know that I'm connecting with them. I don't need for them to connect back with me, but I can send out connection, and sometimes they connect back. Does that make sense?
Beautiful. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a lot of people talk about meditating on compassion, a compassionate meditation, which is like in service of all humanity or all living beings. It's a pretty common, shared idea.
About metta?
Mm-hmm.
Like metta, wishing people. Yeah, I do. I pull up the idea of metta in meditation. When I think about gratitude, I think, I start with this and go outward from there to, include, it can go all the way up to humanity to infinity, Send out metta to infinity.
Yes, that's it. That's the beautiful nature of it. All right. Do you have a favorite prayer or quote or mantra that brings you comfort?
It's interesting you say that because
you're falling a little bit off the screen. There you are.
It's interesting you say that because those prayers I say inside. So to speak them out, it's like I'm trying to think. It's like I'm going in there to find the prayer that I say, and I do say prayer. I say the Our Father a lot.
Beautiful.
I do. I say the Our Father. That's like puts me in my place quickly. It's like, please let me live.
I've never heard it described quite that way.
That's a good one. Please let me live. Please let me live another day. I got work to do, and I have to do it.
Yeah.
I try it. You know what it is, Toby? It's thy will be done.
Yes. I was just gonna say, you're of service. You are devoted to being of service to humanity and those around you, and that is your nature. Yeah.
People tell me that. I didn't always have that grasp. I didn't always grasp that. People tell me that. People have told me that.
I think that sounds a lot like the prayer of someone in service is, please help me live and be of service. Sometimes, especially in these times, the caregivers and the people that are giving and giving and giving, if we don't fill
Yeah.
our cups, then we get depleted. And so that prayer of like, please God, help me fill my cup, or just
Yeah.
help me live so I can be of service. That's a
Yeah.
very sweet prayer.
I can do what I'm supposed to do, not what I think.
Yeah.
The
Love
reason I'm
that.
here.
Turn your will over to something bigger.
Yeah. Yes.
That's so cool. What brings you joy? This is a big question for you.
I know. What brings me joy?
Sitting by that pistachio grove this morning, traipsing around, that looked like it was bringing you joy.
Because I told you that I've always wanted to do that, is come into this grove and sit in the grove, because there's nobody in here. Nobody walks through these groves except the people that tend the groves. It's very rare. Hey, Smudge!
Smudge! Come here.
Hey, Smudgy!
Have a little intermission.
Is he saying hello to me, or he wants a
We're going to go visit Smudge. Sorry, everyone. real time.
He's really. What's he doing? Does he know it's me?
He always thinks you're at the door. He's like, is Richard at the door? Like if he hears somebody on Zoom, he's like, are they at the door? That brings him joy. He's like, talk about joy. Yeah, he's so connected to people. Okay, so what brings you joy?
Watching people change brings me joy, because through their own action. I get a lot of joy out of that.
Beautiful.
But personally, what gives me personal joy, I think, doing what I always put off doing. Doing what I put off. What I procrastinated about. Brings me joy. When I do it, I go, you actually did that. It's no longer in your head.
It's so true, right? When you procrastinate, then you actually get to check something off that list, or however that goes. That brings me so much joy. People who are
it's like, where was I? Yeah, it's like, why didn't I do this before? It was so easy to do, or something like that. That feeling.
Totally. Well, you described something before we started the interview, which was watching my dad cook. You went and watched that video of my dad cooking. And when you were telling me that was so funny. I was saying, hey, if you're the only person who watches it, so be it. So be it. It brought you joy watching him. He's such a nut.
It did. I really identify with. I really like to cook myself. I love Indian food, and I love the authenticity of that video. And those of you who haven't seen that video, go watch it. It's really special.
Well, Richard is an artist, and as an artist myself, I can relate to how we come to life, both you and I. I've known you for so many years. We come to life with this creativity, and we bring it to most everything we do. And so making art, we were both talking about watching my dad cooking and watching it look like he was throwing these things in, like not like how we cook, sprinkling things, or plunking stuff in. And you were appreciating the difference of how he cooks.
Yes, and he triggered in me the idea of like slowing down, and really appreciating what you do. It's like a walking meditation, when you just take the time to savor the simple. And your dad was like a master at it in that video.
You said it really calmed you to watch him.
Yes.
Really
I kept in my mind was screaming. I was like, "Will you stir those spices already?" And I thought, "No, that's the way it's supposed to be cooked."
That's the way he cooks.
Yeah, well, but I got out of that. You can savor it, in the jet, and it. I would first of all I would turn the heat up to medium, and it's supposed to be on low. Which is like it became a metaphor for like how I do everything. Turn that heat up. Get that done,
Exactly. Let's get this thing cooking. Let's get this thing cooking.
Yeah, did you hear about this or that? And we should be doing that right now. It's crazy thinking. And he did it so naturally, you know. He didn't think about it; he just did it. And I thought, there's something there, you know. I need to do more of that.
Okay, so do you seek out joy?
I think I am now more than I have in the past because I didn't know, you know, I don't. I think when joy comes, it's like the bomb, you know. It's like really an upwell of feeling, and so I look forward to that, you know, to that sort of like hitting you from behind
Like a
when joy
gift?
comes.
Would you say it's
More than
like a gift? Like a
yeah,
surprise gift?
it's like an assaultive thing too, though. It's like I didn't expect that to be joyful, you know, and so it feels so good when it comes like a rush. Those of you
Oh, right on.
whoever abused substances know what I'm talking about. And when when you have that in your background, that you never forget that feeling. And so yeah, and so I apply it to other positive things now. But yeah, it is possible to seek joy. I want to be able to do that. But like in meditation, it's like when you have that connection and you get that upwell of feeling, and then you want to sustain it, and that's when you lose it. It's like the dream. It's like being in a dream and trying to remember the dream, and it's so vivid in the dream, and you wake up and you want to be in that moment, and it's gone. That's to me is joy. You know, that feeling of joy. It's elusive. But yeah, I think it's possible to sustain joy. And I feel that when I do discipline, act.
The next
Yeah,
question is finding joy easy for you?
no, because I don't look for it. So it's not hard or easy. It's not something I go out and seek. Although now I'm beginning to understand that you can create a situation where the likelihood for that to occur is increased.
Like in the
But
pistachio grove.
Yeah.
I think that was kind of seeking joy. You were like, hey, we should do this in the pistachio grove. That would be cool. And then you're like, I've been thinking about this for a long time. Let's shoot in the pistachio grove, right? Then we go into the pistachio grove and we lose our connection. And you have to go back into your car, to get that connection again.
Yes. Yeah, I would have preferred to have it my way, but you see where that went.
That's what we were saying in the moment, right? God's will be done.
Yes.
Okay, moving to the bee question. So in the interest of raising awareness about bees, and Mystic Bee Sanctuary wants to have that as part of its goal, are there any lessons bees teach you when you think about bees?
Yes. Strength in numbers. Strength in cooperation.
Yep.
Being social animal, that together we can do anything, and that you can that we're so dependent on what bees do. I mean, as a race, we're gone. If bees are gone, there's not much hope for mankind. So there's that. Something so small can have such a huge impact on how we think we're so great as a race, human beings. We're really nothing. The bees actually are what's going on. And what do? They toil.
They do. Worker bees. Work.
Yeah.
Busy as a bee.
Well, even the queen works.
Yep.
That's work. That's got to be work.
That's a lot of work. I'll tell you, watching her, I know it's a lot of work. I've seen her up close and personal. Well, before we close,
I always want to mention, I saw an image recently of bees like sleeping inside a flower. Does they like to do that? I didn't know that. I thought they were always like flying around, that they take time to like relax. It's kind of cool.
I've only seen it in the hive. I haven't seen it in a flower. So I never know to trust those or not. I just know what I see one-on-one, and I've seen them sleep in the hive. They sleep. It's so cute. They tuck themselves into one of the cells, and they have their butt sticking out,
Yes.
and they're
Yes.
sleeping. It's so cute. So cute.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, I want to thank you for being here now with me. And you and I had talked about possibly going out and showing people the pistachio trees real quick before we end. Is that something you want to do? Buzz out there and show them? I just thought it was cool seeing the pistachios.
I want to show you.
So we
Yeah,
might lose the connection, and it might just be a visual experience because last time we lost you the audio. But I really wanted to thank you for sharing your experience with us about peace, comfort, and joy in your life. And I wanted to wish everybody peace, comfort,
Thank you,
and
so.
joy out there. What did you say?
I said thank you, so.
Aww.
Thank you for making it happen.
Aww.
I wouldn't have done this if we had decided you had called me for this interview. I wouldn't have been sitting out in the grove this day.
That's awesome. You never know.
Yeah.
It
So
brings
what I'm
me
gonna do?
joy.
Me too. Me too.
This kind of
Let me
thing brings
do
me
that.
joy. Yeah.
So I'm gonna take the the phone out, and I'm gonna walk over to a tree. I'm gonna show you a close up of what a pistachio on the vine looks like. I remember the first time I saw it, it blew my mind. I didn't know they look nothing like the pistachios you eat. So if I lose voice contact, you'll see that image. I hope.
I think we may have a weird ending, so I'm just going to say, may we all thrive in our collective hive here on Earth. May peace be with everyone, and may you thrive in your hive. You want to do your little bee antennas, Richard? Woo! Love you, Richard. Okay, buzz on out there. Buzz on out there. We'll see how it goes.
Okay.
Buzzing on out to the Pistachio Grove in California. No, we can't hear you. I figured we were going to lose audio.
Well, here's a good shot.
Oh, I hear you a little bit. Let's see. Oh, look at how beautiful. Those are pistachios. I get those salt and pepper ones from Costco. They're so good. How pretty. Who knew? Beautiful pistachio grove. Absolutely beautiful. This looks very dusty there. It looks very dry. What's the temperature, Richard? What's the temperature?
I can't hear you.
Oh, I was going to say, what is the temperature? Like how hot it is? You told me it was over 100 degrees. Over 100 degrees. Mwah. Aloha. Thank you. Peace be with you. Aloha.